Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Carl's Conversations, the safe place to have difficult conversations. Listen, we are honoring Black History. We started out doing February where we honored Black History Month. But what we're doing with this Black Excellence Showcase is so expansive until we could not be held within the confines of the month of February. There are so many places to shine the spotlight of Black excellence that we're going to have to go far beyond February. And as you can see on the other side of the screen, I have another portion of the showcase of Black excellence. We have nurse practitioner and business owner Michele Evans-Reavis with us all the way from Richmond, Virginia. She is a nurse practitioner. She is a business owner. Listen, she's going to tell you all about the great things she's doing down in what we call the RVA. And for those of you from that region, you know what the RVA is. The people from the Richmond area, Central Virginia, everybody knows what the RVA is. There's a lot of good stuff come out of the RVA. That's Richmond, Virginia, for those of you who do not know. We're taking the opportunity to shine the spotlight for those who are making it shake when it comes to Black excellence in education and business and mentoring and the arts, entertainment, community advocacy, community engagement. There are all kinds of great people of color that are doing all kinds of great things. And sometimes we fool ourselves into thinking that we have to go and get all those big shiny names. No, that is not true. There are so many people in our community who have already attained greatness. They may not have attained fame. Some may not have attained what we call millionaire status, but I have made it my practice. I don't count nobody's pockets. You don't know who has it and who does not, but I can tell who has attained greatness. And this young lady who we have on the other side of our screen has attained her portion of greatness. And I can't wait to unveil her to the rest of you so we can shine the spotlight of Black excellence on our guest, nurse practitioner Michele Evans-Reavis. God bless you and thank you for coming. We appreciate your presence here on Carl's Conversations. How you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
You are welcome. I want to thank you for saying yes. I want people to know these people that we call to interview, they are busy people. And let me tell you, we got to do some moving and shaking to make space in their schedule and in my schedule to get these interviews done. But to allow themselves to come give us some time to tell you about what they're doing, it's a great thing. And I just want to give you a moment to tell the people about what you're doing right there in Richmond and why you're doing it.
Absolutely. So I'm Michele. I'm a board certified and licensed nurse practitioner, owner and operator of CKE Rejuvenation, which is a beauty and wellness boutique med spa here in Richmond, Virginia, that offers non-surgical beauty, cosmetic, injectable treatments so that you can look and feel your best inside out. Why do I enjoy doing what I do? Because I think it's important for everyone, specifically Black and brown folks, to know that yes, it is affordable, it is attainable. What aesthetic treatments? That would be the what? Because oftentimes folks feel that it is out of their range or it's not for them. However, it is, because we all like to be able to look and feel our best inside out.
Now I'll be honest with you. You are the first person who I have seen who runs this type of business as a Black business owner. We don't often see this in our communities. What was the thing that rung the bell for you to make you say, I want to bring this kind of service to our community? Not that you are exclusive. I'm sure that you take all comers, but we don't often see this in entrepreneurship in our communities by our people. What made you say, hey, I'm going to bring this and be a representative of our community?
Well, first and foremost, I started out thinking about wellness, thinking about hydration. I initially started out my business in IV hydration. And, I know that it's important to stay hydrated. Most often, everybody drinks everything else but water. And water is life. Water is, our bodies. Our bodies are made up mostly of what? Hydration, of water. So it was important for me to be able to share that. Again, yes, you can afford it. Yes, you don't have to walk around with headaches, feeling dry, skin being dry, not necessarily feeling your best, feeling fatigued because you're dehydrated. And you can benefit from an IV hydration. That was first and foremost, because I think oftentimes people see famous entertainers, athletes, taking the route of IV hydration, not realizing that yes, everyday people can have IV hydration, IV vitamins, because our bodies absorb the hydration, the vitamins on a much more effective and efficient manner than just drinking water. Oftentimes, folks will tell you, "I don't like the way water tastes, so I don't drink it." And I was like, "Don't worry about the taste. Like it is good for you. It is good for your skin. It is good for your brain. It is good for just your overall well-being." So the wellness aspect is where I initially started. And then I fell into the aesthetics piece of it.
Now, your background as a nurse, because you spent a lot of time in healthcare as a
Mhm.
nurse before you came into this portion of what
True.
you're doing. Did that background in nursing get you really honed in to being very honed into being hydrated and this portion of health?
Oh, absolutely. So my background in nursing, I was a critical care ICU nurse for some years, and hydration was key. Most often, when folks go to the ER, they're not feeling well. What do? They start an IV, and that's how I was really like keyed in on IV hydration, because I was like, wait a minute, I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for a long time. Like, and I've started quite a few IVs. I could do that. I could do this business. Like, so that piece of it is just very rewarding to me, because I get a chance to educate, inform patients of the necessity, the importance of hydration. And they're able to be like, oh my God, I didn't realize that hydration has so much to do with how I actually feel.
Now, let me ask you something. And this may be a little off the beaten path, but since we're talking about hydration and water, there are all kind of products on the market for us to put in our water to make
Mhm.
the water taste better. And some people will say, well, if you're only drinking water, that's not enough for the body. But since I'm talking to a hydration specialist, what do you say to people who may fall into that way of thinking?
Well, can you add electrolytes to your water? Yes, you can. I am always cautious when I start talking to folks about the hydration or the drinking of products to replace their hydration and their electrolytes. You have to be careful, because oftentimes, in order for it to taste better, you have to sweeten it. So you have to be careful, because it can contain quite a bit of sugar in order to offset the taste of it. Even though it may have electrolytes in it, it very well may have just so much salt too, because salt is added to it, sodium and sugar. So you always have to be careful with a lot of replacement beverages for your hydration and your electrolytes.
Got it. Well, looking at your skin, you look to be very well hydrated. right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, when it comes to the keeping up of the skin,
Mm-hmm.
you specialize in that,
Mm-hmm.
and beauty. And I don't think there's anything in the world more
Mm-hmm.
beautiful when it comes to human beings than the black woman. I,
Sure.
I have
Absolutely.
I have been around the world literally, and I
Mm-hmm.
have seen beautiful women, but ain't
Mm-hmm.
nothing in the world like what God made in the
Mm.
sisters. And that is no slight to
Sure.
any
Sure.
other woman, but God did something special when He
Yes.
made y'all. And here it
Absolutely.
is, you are enhancing that. What are
Yes.
some of the cases that you see? What are the people looking for when they come to see you?
I tell you, number one, thank you for using the term enhance because you're already attractive. You're already beautiful. It's just enhancing what God has already given you. And so oftentimes, you know, I'll be totally honest. That whole phrase of black don't crack, I think it should be thrown out the window. And I say that because yes, our skin does better because we have melanin in it. However, you have to take care of it. And if you don't take care of it, then it will crack, it will sag. And sagging and cracking also is a part of the normal aging process. But if you think about you are what you put in your body,
Mm.
think about how you're eating. Think about medication that you may take, the side effects. Some folks, think about just, well, if I take this, I might get lightheaded, not knowing or not realizing that one of the side effects of the medication can be hair loss, hair thinning, hair shedding. It can be also dryness of your skin. It has the potential to cause undesirable side effects of how, again, we're going to talk about water, not drinking water. I mean, even say, even not exercising, thinking about the poor diet that you may be, invested in, instead of thinking about, you know what, if I want to look and feel good, I got to do a little bit better. Thinking about consistency. And everybody thinks that consistency means 100%. Consistency doesn't mean, in my book, 100%. It means maybe 50%, doing better than what you were before because you want your skin to look better, not only look better, to feel better.
It sounds to me like if someone comes to you to get a Botox shot, they're gonna get more than that. You have what sounds to me like a holistic approach. Yeah, I'm gonna give you the Botox, but I'm
Mhm.
also going to give you some information that's going to help you in the long run. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Because think about it. Botox is wonderful. Like, if you go to the right injector, right healthcare provider injector,
Thank you for saying that.
I'm going to say that piece right there. Um, it is a part of if I could say, the pie, because skincare is also a part of it. And yes, I am going to talk to you about your skin. I am going to, say to you, listen, you got to I'm a firm believer in medical grade skincare products.
Mm.
I'll even give an example of a friend of mine asked me, she was like, Michelle, I need some moisturizer for my face. What do you use? Can I go to this store to get it? And I was like, I don't mean no harm, but I personally have not purchased any over the counter, on the shelves products for my face.
Mm.
What I use for my face, my skin, is what my esthetician has recommended. Can that be pricey? Yes, it can. But you don't have to do it all at one time. You can start with a cleanser and then a moisturizer and then an SPF. And then you can come on and see me. And guess what? I can do some Botox. I can even do microneedling for you, which is a treatment that helps the skin to rejuvenate itself. Because as we get older, Collagen decreases. And with the decrease of collagen, you do become at risk for cracking and sagging. And with microneedling, that treatment helps the skin to naturally start to rebuild this collagen. Therefore, whatever treatments or whatever products that you use will easily be absorbed in your skin, and you'll get the best bang for your buck for all intents and purposes.
All right. For the benefit of those who may be as ignorant as I am when it comes to what you do, if I come to your business for service, what is the difference of the service level between your esthetician and what I'll get when I come to see you? So I'm calling to make an appointment, and they say, "What do you need?" And what I'm going to tell them is, "I don't know. I need for y'all to tell me." So can you give us some information, because I'm sure there's somebody listening who's just as ignorant as I am. Okay.
Listen, I wouldn't call it ignorant. You just don't know. So I am not an esthetician. I do not do facials. I don't do that part of the skincare. That's why you hear me say I have an esthetician, and I go to my esthetician every 3 months. But that's me. Some people can go monthly, depending on what your needs are. The esthetician can evaluate your skin. They can also recommend products for your skin and treatments. There are different levels of esthetician care, if I can say it in that aspect. I do refer patients often to an esthetician. Because you want to think about the overall skin care. I offer treatments. I don't offer like facials. I'm not actually doing the service of facials. When you want Botox, if you want filler, if you want microneedling, if you want, for instance, like the vampire facial, I can do the vampire facial. What is a vampire facial? The vampire facial is using your own blood products to help stimulate collagen again into the face. Oftentimes, when folks think about vampire facial, they think about Kim K. When she introduced the vampire facial and she had all of the blood and so forth over her face. Not everybody looks like that during your treatment. However, that is the concept. Because you are promoting healthy skin. Folks, please remember, skin is your largest organ. The skin is an organ. And when I say organ, I mean organ like your heart, your lungs. Those are all organs. Your kidneys, all organs.
This is amazing. I have never had a conversation quite like this. I will tell you, as this interview is going along, I'm also getting education. And I'm sure that the audience is getting education too. Most of the time, especially when it comes to men, we don't normally pay as much attention to our skin as women do. I remember years ago, I had just finished working out. I had taken a shower. I was in the gym, and I had seen this brother using baby oil gel. And I looked at him, kind of like, bro.
Side eye.
Yeah, what you doing over there, man? He said, you better learn about this. And I laughed at him. Didn't know years later that my wife would introduce me to baby oil gel, and I would never use lotion again. So somebody had already gotten to him. And I just I just hadn't been properly introduced to those type of products. So I said all that to say this: do you have men who have awakened and who come into your med spa to get treatment because they understand now too? And why do women take this more seriously than men? Because skin is our largest organ also.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but men are just as concerned about their skin, about the way they look as well. If you think about how in the last few years, and I'm going to say the last few years, men have been really focused on, having a beard. Like, how can How can I grow my beard? Like, I want it to look good. And, and so when they go to their barber, they're asking their barber, listen, what can I put on, my beard? You invested in beard oil and beard cleanser. And men care about the way they look as well. Men invest in Botox as well. Their price is higher than women because their muscles are stronger. And so when you start talking about Botox is injected into the muscles, thereby having the muscles to have less movement, smoothing out the skin. With men, you have to use more Botox or more tox. So it can be a little bit more pricey. But they don't care because, Botox is not just for fine lines and wrinkles. It is also for having a refreshed look, not looking tired, looking like, oh, I feel good. Yes. And so men invest in Botox. They invest in microneedling as well. Listen, it's almost like when you think about care, personal hygiene, folks want to smell good. I remember someone made fun of me because I was just like, oh my God, he looked like he smelled delicious. Like, he looked like he smelled good. You have to think about it. We use our senses.
Yes.
Our senses help us. And it's like, just like a man would say, oh, she looked like she just smelled like, woo. That's how we all feel. Like I take issue sometimes or take note when folks say, oh, we're all aging. Oh, we all gonna look like this. Yes, we do. But you care about how you look, how the process is processing for all intents purposes for you. And it has been said that most often when men are with women who are attentive to how they look and how they take care of their skin, the man becomes more attentive because then they're like, well, I can't have her looking better than, like, okay, we going out to get, I need what, honey, can you schedule me a facial? I need a men's facial. I need some care. So men are just as concerned as women are about their facial appearances and skincare. I think it has really noted as well that from the beard to men who have bald heads. Like, you got to take care of your bald head. Like, it's skin. You'll be surprised at how many men who have bald heads, who do not cover their heads sometimes in the summer, who later in life can develop skin cancer.
Wow. See, this is good stuff. I want to tell the audience.
You got to cover you got to cover.
If you have not already put questions into these comments, please do so, because you may have questions going through your mind just like I do. You put your questions into the chat, and I'm going to get back with Miss Michele, and we're going to make sure we get you some answers. Believe me, she want to answer your questions, and she wants you to come see her down there in Richmond too. Now, on one of these crawlers, I've got the address. I have flashed the website up here. No excuse for you not to know how to reach her. I flashed the phone number and all that stuff. So we're going to make sure that we contact Michele. If we have questions, we go to her website. There's a lot of ways to get in contact, but please make sure that you are putting your questions into the chat, and make sure that you're sharing the broadcast so anybody who can come on, get in and ask these questions, get this information, come on in now. All right. Now, this is awesome. Now, I will tell you, us brothers, now you say that men take care of their skin just as much. And since you're the expert, I'm not going to mess with that, because you see them coming into your shop. But I will tell you, as men, we probably not talking to each other the same way that the women do. Now, we're going to make that appointment. We're going to go with our wives or whatever, but we just don't talk. Now, when there was a stage in my life where I did get regular facials because it was so convenient. And that was when I was living overseas. It was much more acceptable. It was much more accessible and it was much more convenient, and Lord knows it was much more affordable. But I think since I've been back in the States, I think I've only had one or two. But you know what? It's about time. I
It
think
is.
I'm gonna have to get with Mrs. Armstrong and get her to lead me to the water.
Absolutely. You know, it's interesting when you say that. I have heard tons of folks who feel like Americans um, do not invest in their skincare like other in other countries. You know, and I'm not exactly sure why that is, but again, your skin is the largest organ. Your skin represents you for a lifetime. Um, if you've thought about it, but you were on the fence, schedule a consultation, talk to a professional about it, and then that way you can make informed decisions about how to move forward.
You know, you just said something that I'm echoing all the time. Talk to a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to an expert.
Mm-hmm.
This may sound so simple, but it took me a while to really buy into this.
Mm-hmm.
What we know
Mm-hmm.
and what we think we know
Mm-hmm.
is not always the same.
Not at all.
And I have learned that the things that I am not an expert on,
Mm-hmm.
I like to go to the experts
Mm-hmm.
to talk to people who really know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and we cheat ourselves many times by
Mm-hmm.
thinking that we know. We may have a portion of information, but if I want to know about skin rejuvenation, if I want to know about hydration, if I
Mm-hmm.
want the real information, I may
Mm-hmm.
want to talk to somebody who does this for a living.
Yes.
I may want to talk to Michele Evans-Reavis.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, her website is right there on your screen. The information for the med spa is scrolling across the bottom of your screen. She's located right there in Richmond. And so I'm being very serious. Of course, I'm throwing some free advertising at you, but I want the people to know we
Yes.
need to
Thank you.
consult experts. We need to
Yes.
consult experts.
Yes.
Don't go this alone. We cheat ourselves and we
Mm-hmm.
really go without when we don't talk to the experts.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you know, again, that you're echoing what I have said, because oftentimes folks go onto social media. I seen social media and they said that I could do this at home and this is what it's going to look like. And it's like, no, that's not, you know, can you start doing your research on social media? Yes. But you do yourself a disadvantage when you don't schedule the consultation. The consultation may cost $50. It may be free. It may be $25. However, you gain so much more knowledge. And in that way, again, you can make an informed decision about what treatment is for you, how you can pay for that treatment, how often you should have the treatment, how you can bring some friends with you. Because what I have found is that oftentimes folks say, you know what, I got to bring my girlfriends. My girlfriends was just talking about this and da 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 da. Okay, tell them to come on, like, because you won't know until you know you have that meeting and have the discussion. So then that way you can make informed decisions and see what treatment is best for you.
Oh, thank you for that. That's something I want to ask you. Now, for people who think kind of linear like me,
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to follow the path of your career to being a nurse, right? You know, you go to college, you major in XYZ, you get
Mm-hmm.
your nursing certificate, you go to your specific route of specialty,
Mm-hmm.
but you own this tremendous business,
Yeah.
CKE Rejuvenation.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take business classes? What was your end? Because I'm sure there's somebody who
Mm-hmm.
has that burn in their belly. They
Mm-hmm.
have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
but they're saying, I don't know anything about business. How in the world did Michele go from being an ICU nurse to
Mm-hmm.
doing this? And let us in behind the curtain, if you don't mind. How did it start? How are you maintaining?
Sure. So thank you for asking that question. So yes, I still tell you to this day, I do very well in taking care of folks because that's what I do. The business part of it is very challenging to wrap my head around oftentimes because it requires a different thought process. When I initially started out, I researched and I took a business class on IV hydration. And as a matter of fact, the teacher of the class, the folks who offered it, they were nurse practitioners as well. She was a nurse practitioner. She had nurses working for her. And she had, for all intents purposes, a blueprint that she had us to follow. And I did that. And then upon taking that class, I took another business class and I took another business class for the aesthetics part of it because, and the business part is very important because that's when you learn what you can and cannot do legally, what insurance is required, products, services, and being in the room with other healthcare providers who are in the business realm. After that piece of it, and I still attend business classes from that piece, but then the other part of it is being with other people who look like me who are in business. So women and Black and brown women. That is a very important piece because we're small businesses, often is small business, women owned, minority owned businesses. And in those particular environments, they are offering different strategies to help you to grow your business. And that's how I still maneuver in this space, because it is a different space. There are not a lot of Black nurse practitioner small business owners. There are some. We are out there. We're far and few. We're not always all together, which is a beauty. And then that way we can reach more folks. But we are out there. And we also have a tendency to gravitate towards each other. I'll tell you that piece too. Because we know that there are not many of us who look like us who are doing what we're doing.
This may be a kind of pointed question, but I think it needs to be asked.
Sure.
Is it lonely being a pioneer and a trailblazer when it comes to doing what you're doing?
Oh, absolutely. As I said, we gravitate. We have a tendency to gravitate towards each other. When you go to a class or when you go to a conference and you see someone who looks like you have a tendency to gravitate towards each other. And oftentimes you don't mind sharing. You don't mind having input on, girl, this is what I did. This is how I did it. Let me put you on to the attorney that I used. They are very much so friendly. And not only are they friendly, but they're versed in healthcare, in aesthetic medicine, because it is medicine. It's not, I'm just out here willy-nilly. It's actual aesthetic cosmetic medicine.
How do you find that the women of color who are doing what you're doing, how are you received by the women who are not of color, the others? And I'm not trying to pick.
I get it. I'm received okay. At least I think I am. You always have one or two who are side-eyeing you. But for all intents and purposes, I've been welcomed. I cannot say that I have not been. I've been welcomed, and no issue.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask this question. You have given us, excuse me, a blueprint of your path into
Mm-hmm.
this thing, and I think it's been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
If you could talk to that 15-year-old Michele who had all these dreams and visions, knowing what you know now,
Mm-hmm.
if you could give that 15-year-old Michele some advice that could help her to kind of cut through, take some shortcuts or make some decisions that would get you to where you are now, maybe in a more linear path, what would you tell her?
Well, number one, that 15-year-old Michele always wanted to be a nurse. So if you ask my friends, my childhood friends, they'll tell you Michele always wanted to be a nurse. If anything, I would say don't turn, don't give business a side eye. Because if you would have asked me if I would be where I am today as an entrepreneur, I would have told you no. And I've always said that you have to have an entrepreneur spirit. And I did not feel that I necessarily had that entrepreneur spirit. So if anything, I would tell the 15-year-old me, Michele, don't turn your cheek at the entrepreneur side of life of being a business owner.
Wow. You know, one thing I'm learning and going through this series of the Black Excellence Showcase, it
Mhm.
is apparent to me that those of us who have a little seasoning in life,
Mhm.
um, we're going to have to do a better job. And that is not to say that we're not doing it. I don't want to make that impression.
Sure, sure, sure.
But I like to ask that question, what we say to the younger version of ourselves,
Mhm.
because I'm realizing that there's so many things that I was just not exposed to
Mhm.
at a younger age to make some different decisions. And I don't blame anybody. I
Mhm.
believe that the adults in my life
Mhm.
gave me the best of what they had and what they knew. It makes me want to reach out and do a better job at helping another young person to be exposed so that they can have information. Now, the children today have a greater advantages than we did because of the advancement in information technology.
Mhm.
But having that little phone in their hand, it is not the same thing
Mhm.
as having an audience with
Mhm.
a Michele Evans-Reavis,
Mhm.
somebody who's been there, done that, and saying, listen, this is my story. And
Mhm.
come on with me to my shop. Let me show you what I do.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? To open your life up, open your profession up. It
Mhm.
makes a huge difference. And I'm going to try to figure out a way where I can make the connection. This what we're doing here in this interview series, it is
Mhm.
part of it. But
Okay.
I wish that I could figure out something to bring some youngsters who may be interested in things you're doing, bring them to your place of business and maybe have a 1 or 2 day tour. They can really get into what you're doing. Maybe we can set something up. We'll see. But
Sure.
I really am interested in helping young people who
Mhm.
have a mind to go somewhere and do something, but maybe just don't have the exposure.
Sure. Sure.
That thing is really sitting on my heart. You know what I mean? Because one day we're gonna turn this thing over,
Mhm.
right? We're gonna go into retirement land, and it may be sooner than later. And so, Michele, I want to thank you. You have been a tremendous guest, and let me tell you something. The spotlight of Black excellence did not waste any time with you. And I want to give you an opportunity. There may be something that maybe you wanted to bring out, maybe I didn't cover, and anything you wanted to say to the audience that maybe I didn't get to. Here is your opportunity.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thanks again for the opportunity. I just want to encourage Black and Brown women to invest in yourself. You spend so much time investing in everybody else, and then you put off, oh, I could do that later. Oh, I could do that. Why put off what you can do today? Go ahead and research. Take that time and schedule the consultation. If you're in Richmond, come on and see me, schedule a consultation. Let's chit chat about, what it is that you want. If you want to travel to Richmond, you can do that also as well. But I think it's important for you to recognize that you deserve to enhance. You deserve to enhance your natural beauty, and you don't have to look crazy. I always say that too, because oftentimes when folks start researching, they look at folks who are like, oh God, is that what that looks like? I don't want that. You don't have to. You can look your natural, beautiful self with some enhancements, and continue to age gracefully in this world. So my motto is always, let's meet where we are. All right. So thank you once again for the opportunity to be able to share my experience.
Oh, you are very welcome. Now, listen, for y'all looking for Michele in Richmond, she is the owner and operator of CKE Rejuvenation. It is a beauty and wellness med spa. It is at 7520 Brook Road, Richmond, Virginia, 23227. I say it again, 7520 Brook Road, Richmond, Virginia, 23227. You want the phone number? 804-322-9737. I'm going to say it real slow for y'all that write like me. 804-322-9737. And you can see up on your screen is the website for CKE Rejuvenation. And she is in Richmond, Virginia. I was looking at the website right before we got on. It is a very well put together website.
Thank you.
Make sure if you're anywhere in the Central Virginia region, even for those of you who are my compadres in Northern Virginia, it ain't a bad drive to go to Richmond. Tisha and I go down there every now and then. We like to hit those black restaurants down there. So don't be surprised, Lady Michele, if I'm down there. Now I'm telling you, I'm not doing no Botox, but I may come down there and get me a facial. The people gonna talk about me if I come back here looking. I thank you so much for your time and your expertise. Y'all remember, this is Michele Evans-Reavis, nurse practitioner extraordinaire, owner and operator of CKE Rejuvenation in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you for who you are and what you are. You are a bright spot in Richmond, Virginia, and we thank you for your contribution to your community and everything that you're doing down there. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, everybody.